The first day of meteorological spring, and it'll be the best day to soak up the sun and outdoors. We're on your side with when we're expecting some cooler weather over the weekend and a first alert of wet weather next week.
And we are continuing to count down to longer days as we prepare for daylight saving time and astronomical spring.
Plus, we're headed to the classroom where we meet our newest junior weather watchers from Lauren's school visit.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And we love those junior weather watchers.
We do. And I can still hear their screams in my ear, actually.
And plus, it's Friday. I'm sure there was a Friday in there somewhere.
I said, are y'all excited about Friday? And the blood-curdling screams that came out of their mouths. They're pretty pumped. And that it was nice and sunny today, right?
It sure was. Beautiful day.
Yeah, beautiful day out there today. But we do have some colder air coming in this weekend. The dry weather, of course, we've been dealing with those fire issues this week. That's going to continue this weekend. Watching Tuesday. So let's get to the next big thing. A lot to talk about here on Weather Extra. And first off, we have a clear sky tonight. That temperature is going to drop down into the 40s, but a perfect evening for sky watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be telling you more about what you can see in the night sky tonight. Some cool stuff happening. A dry weekend, freeze Sunday morning, and I think we'll see some 20s on the map for areas to the north. So keep those faucet covers out for those northern areas. A cold start Sunday, and then watching Tuesday now and into Wednesday. I know we've been talking a lot about Wednesday of next week, but the timing now looks like we could see some storms and rain come in late Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So let's talk about what to expect for Saturday. Get you set here tomorrow morning. 40s out the door. Afternoon highs in the 60s for a lot of us. We may touch 70 degrees. I think to the north there's a cold front moving in tomorrow. We may see some 50s during the afternoon for places like Gadsden, here around Rainbow City and Coleman and Aniana. So still might need some long sleeves later in the day. You'll certainly need the jacket tomorrow night as those temperatures fall. Notice the wind picks up tomorrow out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour because of that dry frontal passage. So again, it's like, the hair dryer on everything out there, just keeping it extra crispy and dry. So avoid burning this weekend until we get some rain in here. But that cold front ushers in lows again in the 20s to the north. We'll see some 30s south. It looks like around Alabaster to Clanton. I still think we'll touch freezing Sunday morning, especially the outlying areas, so plan for a very cold start. Highs on Sunday in the 50s, but it will be a sunny day, so that's a good thing as we will enjoy some dry conditions. So here is our latest WBRC severe weather outlook coming up for next week, and what we're thinking is we're seeing more of a marginal to slight risk at this stage. But so far out, sometimes the global data sometimes can underplay the instability a little bit. So we need to watch this just in case it ramps up. Be sure to check in with Lauren this weekend. And Matt, we're sort of on First Alert Weather Day watch right now. But the good news is we will have some rain coming in with this system. But I can say that it is going to bring some wind. I think we'll have some wind gusts out there. Could top 20 miles per hour, certainly Tuesday night and into early Wednesday morning. Maybe some gusts over 30 miles per hour. But also we're watching for that risk of an isolated tornado. Right now we see those greatest tornado parameters back to the west. Another thing that has changed with this, again, I mentioned this could start as early as 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening for our far western areas, but it's a line. It won't last all night. A line of rain and storms that will move through overnight and move out early on Wednesday. So that's the next big thing we're tracking. We want to talk a lot more about the 10-day forecast. Right now, though, we're talking about the countdown to meteorological spring.
We sure are. Listen, daylight saving time is going to start very, very soon. I believe it starts the second weekend of the month of March. So let's break down those times and what's changing as we approach our spring season. So here's a quick look at those sunset times. Notice today, February 28th, we're literally ending, I would say, the work week for this month. And sunset was right around 5:43 p.m. It's already dark outside, but hopefully you enjoyed the sunshine earlier today. Next month, which really starts tomorrow, but closer to the end of the month, March 28th, sunset will actually move to 7:05, meaning you'll have more daylight hours, I would say, when you're actually for the evening, during those evening time hours. Does that make sense? 7:05 is when you can expect that sun to set. In 2 months, heading into the end of April, 7:28, so it's getting a little bit later. And then by May 28th, the sun won't set until right before 8 p.m. We're talking about a 7:50 sunset time. So if you're excited about spring? I know I am. Then hold on, because it's coming, but we do have some cold temperatures on the way for this weekend. Not only are we talking about the cold temperatures for the weekend, but Saturday looks a little breezy. So although it's going to be another beautiful day, expected to be windy, and you're going to want that sweater and jacket for your Saturday evening because of that added wind component. But this all comes as the Alabama Forestry Commission is extending their wildfire advisory through the weekend. Burn permits will be restricted to just prescribed burns only. Your reporter Brian Henry joins us on the latest on the I-35 or on the 135 fires across the state that burn more than 3,000 acres.
This is what Alabama sounds like today. Crunchy leaves, bone dry, fertile ground for a wildfire, much like what we've seen across the state this week, which comes as no surprise to state fire analyst Ethan Barrett.
We are seeing an abnormal uptick in fire behavior or wildfire occurrence, and it's being brought on by these abnormally dry conditions we're having for the past few days, coupled with these stronger than normal winds.
Many of the wildfires remain under investigation in terms of the cause, according to Barrett, but some were started by out-of-control debris burning. For today, at least, the Alabama Forestry Commission says it won't issue any outdoor burning permits. It is simply too risky given the current weather conditions.
We're really urging everyone to hold off performing any outdoor burnings until weather becomes more favorable.
That could happen next week. The potential for a stormy day or two is in the forecast.
We're hoping that
And we are going to take a brief look at those winds, but before we do that, I want to make sure and remind you of this. Be sure to join us for Weather Extra this coming Monday, because we're going to speak with the Alabama Forestry Commission on how they're battling these fires and what they're hoping for as we head into a rainy pattern over the next week. Lauren?
Well, Tania, after firing nearly 800 employees yesterday across NOAA, a source close to the agency saying they could let go of more workers soon. And when that happens, it could potentially cost the agency more than 1,000 workers. So we're going to continue to watch any developments on that soon. This could also be the last day for some federal workers who deferred resignations, which is according to a memo from earlier this month. So, of course, we constantly talk about the importance of the National Weather Service, right? And as we continue to talk about the importance of the National Weather Service and, of course, also NOAA, they are all federal agents. They work within the federal government. So what is the importance of them to us? Well, here at Birmingham at WBRC and all of our media partners here in the market and all of our media partners across the country, we work very closely with NOAA and the National Weather Service. Now, NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and the National Weather Service is the National Weather Service, of course. And we have our own office right here in Birmingham down I-65 down in Calera. So with the National Weather Service, one thing that is so integral that they do, we all, or you should, and if you don't, you better do this, download the WBRC First Alert weather app on your phone. Anytime you get a notification on your phone from a watch or a warning, anytime you get a notification of a watch or a warning on your NOAA weather radio, that should be a sign. That is coming from our National Weather Service meteorologists. When we go on TV and break into programming, it is because we are getting warnings from our partners at the National Weather Service. We have great technology available here, but they also have even really advanced technology, these advanced computers that have satellite and radar data, and they actually maintain the satellite and radar data that we see. So they have these machines, this infrastructure, this technology. Hurricane Helene, remember when it struck the Gulf Coast? We wouldn't be able to see that, visualize it coming without satellite data. And then what about radar data? Radar data is so critical for us when we are tracking severe thunderstorms or straight line wind events or potentially tornadoes. So we can see the rotation within a tornado and give you that first alert of when a tornado could be outside your door. We have to have Doppler radar to do that. And we have to have have technicians to monitor the radar. We've been talking about for years how there's been a radar gap in west central Alabama. And so we need more radars and we need more people to be able to do this and to maintain this type of technology. So these people, these federal meteorologists are so important. And what are some of the things they deal with? Well, we mentioned satellites and radar. When we talk about weather models a lot, anytime we show you a weather model on television, that is all coming from weather data in an upper air balloon. Those weather balloons that are launched into the atmosphere, they happen to feed data into the weather models that we use to help build our forecast. So many vital tools with NOAA and the National Weather Service. In 30 seconds, we continue to talk about the beautiful weather for your Saturday and how much rain we've seen over the past month in central Alabama. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Looking at our current radar, there ain't nothing happened. But hey, our radar is working down in Calera. Again, that's something that our National Weather Service partners here in Birmingham, they operate. And so we always hope that that radar stays functioning and operable. We really appreciate our partners always making sure it's up and running, especially when we have those severe events on the way. And luckily, it's nice and quiet right now. Temperatures comfortable in the 60s. Now, tomorrow morning, it's not going to be quite as chilly as it was this morning, but still going to be cool, waking up with temperatures in the 40s. But hey, you may not even feel the 40s if you sleep in the morning. Plenty of sunshine for your Saturday. As we look at that weekend forecast, we did mention it's going to be staying dry, but Wes talked about there's another little front coming in, so it is going to be on the cool side. And as we continue to see that little front nudging in, we're going to see throughout the day Saturday temperatures are dropping. So it really looks like Saturday, as that front approaches, it could be getting just a little bit breezier. But other than that, even though it's going to be cooler on Sunday, going to be pretty quiet. But I would say if you're going to do anything outdoors, Saturday is the day to do it. I know I'm going to be super obnoxious outside, soaking up that sunshine for the first day of meteorological spring. Tania.
Well, thanks, Lauren. Let's pull up those rainfall totals for the month of February. We're coming to a close of the month. So let's do a recap. Here's a quick look at those rainfall totals. Birmingham's average is just shy of 5 inches. We reached a little bit over 3.5. We're talking about 3.6 inches of rain. Tuscaloosa 2.2, average close to 4 inches of rain. And in Anniston 5.4, lots of rain for Anniston and Calhoun County area. And notice they beat their average of just around or just shy, I would say, of 5.1 inches of rain for the area. So those are our February totals. We, of course, have more rain and possible storms in the forecast for next week. But let's take you around the world now to the southern Indian Ocean, where tropical cyclone Garance made landfall today. It came ashore at the strength of a Category 2 hurricane here in the Atlantic Ocean. The cyclone being the strongest storm to make landfall on the French territory since 1989. It's bringing heavy rains, strong winds, and powerful waves. Conditions are expected to improve tomorrow. And back here in the States, cleanup and restoration is still moving forward in those areas most affected in North Carolina by Hurricane Helene. Nasia Patino Home has the latest.
The road to recovery continues.
We've removed a lot of material, but there's still more to be removed.
But the storm has left a sizable amount of debris throughout Henderson County, making the cleanup efforts difficult.
We've removed in the 4.5 months, very close to, if not more than what we do a whole year at our transfer station in Henderson County.
Marcus Jones, engineer with the county, says that the area has been in dire need of local contractors to assist with debris cleanup and removal service.
To do things like operating our debris sites and most importantly, hauling debris from the right-of-way to those debris sites, and then from the debris sites to the final destination. So there are a lot of subcontractors working for our FEMA contractor.
And as the need for help intensifies, Jones says that FEMA has accepted to increase the budget to bring in additional hands to expedite the cleanup process. And that includes how much the contractors can now pay the subcontractors.
We've got a new price structure. Recently, FEMA has reevaluated the unit prices that are paid to the subcontractors based on our mountainous terrains and some of the difficulties that you have in the mountains with debris removal.
But despite the shortage, progress has been made. In Henderson County, I'm Nisha Pettyhome, News 13.
Taking you beyond the atmosphere, we actually have a cool little planetary parade lined up for you here. So I was just checking on some of the visibility conditions for this. Now, I'm not telling you when the sun sets tonight, if you look outside, you're just going to see all the planets hanging out there bidding you hello from space. No, that's not how it works. Is it going to be a clear sky? Yes, but some of these you can see better than others. So the ones that you can see well are going to be Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. However, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, unless you have a telescope, it is going to be very difficult to see with the naked eye. So again, it's cool that they're all technically there in the same vision of the sky. You initially look to the east, then the south, then the west as the night goes on, but generally it's not going to be super impressive to see all 7. However, you can at least see 3 of them. And I said 7. Let me double check here. All right, 7 planets. Yes, I forgot Earth is one of them. And poor Pluto, as we know, unfortunately got the boot. So we won't be seeing Pluto either. But hey, also happening in March, a total lunar eclipse. You can catch it on March 14th, and it'll begin right before midnight and on that Thursday and reach totality at 2:59 a.m. on Friday. The name of this full moon is known as the blood warm moon because lunar eclipses like this one can make the moon appear to glow red. And we'll be right back.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Crystal clear sky out there tonight. The temperature will tumble down into the 40s. Notice by 9 o'clock, if you have plans, you can see some low 50s out there, but a nice Friday evening. But check this out. We have another cold front on the way, and tomorrow this is a dry frontal passage, but the wind is going to pick up during the afternoon. So more breezy conditions, dangerous fire weather conditions out there for tomorrow, but we'll start out in the 40s. Notice for the afternoon, even though we're showing a high near 70, it's going to be chilly to the north. Aniana showing 58 at 4 o'clock, 59 at Center. However, you go further south, you can see Centerville showing 68. So there will be a noticeable difference from north to south. So if you're watching me here around Coleman, right there along that 278 corridor, a little bit cooler. The good thing is we will have some sunshine, so that's going to help you out with those comfort levels in the afternoon. Also, the wind picks up again out of the northwest at about 10 to 15. But this is the colder air moving in, which sets the stage for a light freeze early Sunday. And we're going to drop on down into the mid-20s. Some of those far northern areas, places like Poplar Springs up towards Addison, around Smith Lake, maybe around Mountain Borough and Tawa, and those areas there, and to the north and east, a cold start early Sunday morning. But the weekend looks dry. I'm watching next week right now. The severe weather outlook that we've put together still shows the greatest risk to the west, but I'm seeing a marginal to slight risk across our area. That does include some gusty winds. Will we see an isolated tornado threat? It's there, especially for areas back to the southwest. Timing wise, you can see it looks like 4 to 9 o'clock, more of a Tuesday night event for us here in West Alabama, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. central areas, 7 o'clock to 3 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday. Again, this is based on global data. And notice how we're seeing wind gusts there up to 40 miles per hour. It's going to be a windy night. So what we know right now is that we will have some gusty winds on the way. That's the biggest impact. A few random power outages possible. We're seeing a marginal to slight risk, isolated tornado in that mix, mainly to the southwest, but this is far out and we'll be gaining more specifics. And keep a watch on this just in case it ramps up over the weekend. As I mentioned, we're sort of on First Alert Weather Day watch. We'll have close eyes on it, and Matt and Lauren over the weekend, so check in for updates. Notice Tuesday and Wednesday, that greatest rain chance is now more into Tuesday. And then as we spring ahead next weekend, looks like we could see a few showers with those highs in the 60s. Lauren?
Wes. Well, taking you to a little weather in the classroom, I had a chance to visit Helena Intermediate School today as part of their annual career day. Check out these cuties. I mean, oh my gosh, so many passionate kids, not just interested in learning about different careers, but I may be a little biased. They definitely seem pretty interested in the weather. They were great. We even got them to practice what it would be like if they were on a green screen. So given that 7-day forecast, or a little weather extra in that 10-day like Wes just gave, but we also talked to them because it's a big conversation topic. What is the importance of our federal meteorologists? So we also talked about not just what we do as broadcast meteorologists, but also our government partners as well at the National Weather Service and NOAA. So thank you so much to Helena Intermediate School for having me out. And there are definitely some future meteorologists in that group. And hey, teachers, you too can sign up to be visited by a member of the First Alert Weather Team. Just go to www.weatherintheclassroom.com where you can sign up to get a visit from us. From there, you can download the Weather in the Classroom booklet where you can work on the activities with your students. When a member of the team visits, they will then do the final activity together where your students will officially become junior weather watchers. And of course, we can't wait to see you all soon, but next week, because you know it's Friday. Tania?
Residents, though, of one Florida county saying they're still dealing with severe flooding months after Hurricane Milton slammed the state. Aaron Mesmer joins us with those residents who are still being affected.
Hundreds of acres of land still underwater.
We're going into month 5 now. Month 5.
Leaving a lot of Pasco County families feeling a mixture of crushing anxiety and pure exhaustion.
We're just tired. We're ready for this to move on.
Folks in the State City neighborhood can't believe that they're still dealing with flooding nearly 5 months after Hurricane Milton, but they are relieved that it looks like help is finally here.
The state brought in 3 large pumps and about 3,000 feet of hose to clear water that still hasn't receded following Hurricane Milton. We're told the priority right now is helping neighbors in the Hickory Hills community We first told you about this community earlier this month when neighbors were begging county and state leaders for help.
We've been able to coordinate with several in the neighborhood to move water so that we're not impacting anybody else.
Late last year, state-operated pumps were used to clear the public roads, but in mid-December, they were redeployed elsewhere, leaving a lot of private roads and properties still flooded. Pasco's Public Works Director, Jason Mickle, says the county is now prioritizing where the new pumps are currently operating.
We've prioritized based on if there's a private road, but that private road leads to a public road. That's one thing we're looking at. Another is, are we able to get emergency vehicles down that road?
That's a relief to neighbors who had that exact concern and urged officials to listen, even as they were told they'd have to find ways to clear the water on their own. Now that there's help, these folks are hoping the flooding is gone soon.
The rainy season comes in, and these people back here are going to be impacted first, because that's what happened the last time. And they're going to be run out of their houses if they don't get their arms around this quickly.
In Pasco County, Aaron Mesmer, Fox 13 News.
Well, don't go anywhere. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra, and you know we have a final check of your weather right here after the break.
Well, welcome back for one final look at Weather Extra, and we also want to give a final farewell to someone very important here at WBRC.
Yes.
Not Wes. Wes is still here.
Yeah, here he is. Come on, Wes.
There he is.
I was working to get this photo
Yes.
in here because this is one of our engineers retiring today, Bill Hudson, and one of the faces behind the scenes that every time we need help with weather equipment, he always makes it happen, and Bill has helped us so much.
He sure has.
Yeah.
Listen, when our computers are down, he makes sure to come back up.
Sure
Hey,
does.
look, it's technology. And, you know, sometimes we have a lot of weather happening, especially tracking storms. We need our engineers, and we certainly appreciate Bill. Wish
Absolutely.
him
So
the best.
grateful.
Happy retirement.
trails, Bill.
More forecast updates tonight, first at 9 and 10.